I think you agreed that long time ago. Otherwise, you're in the wrong forum. You need to make, maybe a decade is 10 years. You need to make like only 4 strategic decisions in those 10 years, instead of tiring yourself on a day-to-day decision making. When you are making a strategic decision, never afford to make a stupid decision. Use a lot of data. Use a lot of analysis. You don't need to do that every day. For example, in 10 years, you make 4 strategic decisions, you are good to go. But we tie ourselves and our mind making micro decisions that we have no time to think about making strategic big decisions. And those big decisions are what matters. Investors like the ones I mentioned, including Kenya, the decision, for example, Equity did in 2007. A company called the Herio's Capital came, a private equity fund. They got 24.5% of Equity Bank. That strategic decision they made was more important than how the branch operates every day. Strategic decisions. A strategic decision of KCB Bank to go to DRC and buy a bank there instead of starting one from scratch. That needed a lot of decision making that is weighty, deep. That strategic decision making is more important than every day-to-day running of KCB Bank. The strategic decision, let's say, of Brookside selling a stake to Danone, a French company, that decision making maybe is more important than the amount of milk they were processing every day that time. You need to make strategic decisions, but not in haste. Because once you make the right one correctly, then you can reap from it for a very long time. And of course, learn as much as possible. Very lastly, those who, I was at some place two days ago, and I made a confession which I want to make also now. Despite all the things I have said here, I have already told you, as a businessman, I mean, let's not cheat ourselves that we are here to do this, to create value. You are here to make money. So I'm talking in that length. You know, when you're marketing a house, oh, I want to make good living abodes for other people. You're there to make money, my friend. Out of that, me personally, I have made much more money passively than I have made money actively. And I'll give you one because it is public information which you have read. I see on Twitter, stima ikipotea munaanza maneno. Me, I have never even been to Kenya Power offices because I'm just a passive investor. Passive. I have never been there for the last I don't know how long. The last time I was there was in my capacity as an MP ya kufuata stima, in my first term. But this year, last year, the share of Kenya Power, you can Google at your own time, was trading. Last year, a time like today, was below 2 shillings. 2 shillings. 2. Meaning, if you bought shares then, if you bought 1 million shares then, you would have spent how much? 2 million shillings. Yesterday, which was Friday, Kenya Power share, after dropping slightly, I know it still go somewhere up, was 13.5 shillings. 13 point? So how much is that? Your 2 million is how much? At the same, no, you are 2 million shares. We say, oh yes, you are right. You are 2 million is? No, it can't be 7. Fanya hesabu, 2 million shares would have bought you 1 million. 2 million shillings would have bought you 1 million shares. 13 and a half. You know najua nikisema hii mnafikiria ni pahali it's real. Si vitu tunasomanga kama hizo nimewabia za Warren Buffett. This is real. Nyeri shares 3 months ago. Let me even use December. Nyeri shares in December was 1.06. Yesterday, let me say the high. Average for last week. Not too much. 3.5 shillings. I want you to do the percentage. Kenyan shares a year ago, a time like this, it was cheaper to buy one Kenyan share than it was to buy Peremende. It was maybe 3 point something shillings. As of yesterday, 9.7. It doesn't happen all the time. I'm not telling you at the Monday you go buy those shares. No. I am saying this. Some time back, I sat down, downloaded the financial accounts of Kenya Power, read, and I realized, ni mimi tunajua hii mambo ama ni nini? Because I saw a gold mine. I am going back to what I told you. You will never move from M to B at the evil. You have to also spend some time. I mean, if, for example, working for a whole year, for a whole month, in that institution, you earn 100,000 or 50,000 per month. If you earn 50,000 to work for a whole month, then it means to move from that M to B. It also calls you to also engage your mind into running and data analysis. It's not so complex anyway. So I started and I saw a company had over 150 billion in sales. That is revenue. Assets were like 320 billion that time. The valuation of that company was just 3 billion in the market. Then I decided I am not consulting anyone. I am buying vile tunasemanga hapa kwetu takeri. Yeah. Yani hutaki kufikiria mimi hapa nimeona iko kitu na sitaki kujua mimi nanunua. Last year I scrutinized Nyeri books. I realized the company is valued by that time, was valued by the market at only at 6 billion shillings. The entire company. Because when you're buying shares, me, I don't advocate for trading. I advocate for investing. Invest like you're investing in a company, not trading shares, no. So I see a company worth 6 billion, but they had declared profit that year of 5 billion net profit. Can you just imagine? Ile story tulikuwa tunasema ya Proti will take you 10 years to recover your money. That's what they say, 10 to 15. Now here there is a company which was worth 6 billion, but net profit for 1 year was 5 billion. Then I scrutinized further. I saw their cash and cash equivalent. These things are online. You can actually check. And that you don't need to be an accountant. I'm not one. I read and saw their cash and cash equivalent by then was 35 billion shillings. Do you know what that means? And then I read further, they have no loan. Hi. Then it meant to me, I can buy this company at 6 billion. If it becomes mine, the cash and cash equivalent alone, I get the 6 billion and pay the people who gave me. The whole money, the 30 billion remains free money. Anniversary Towers, which is owned by them, becomes my building. Maybe I'll have the top 3 floors as my office. Reinsurance Plaza becomes my building. And then I started, they are in 83 markets. I never needed anyone to tell me anything. I saw an opportunity there. So what am I trying to tell you? There are many opportunities you can make money passively. They don't happen all the time. That's why I talked about study how the markets move, how the economies move, so that you know when to jump. For example, in Kenya, we have had a bullish market. Shares in Aeda Juu. But they don't go up like this. They go EV. So it's your work now. Go check the companies of your interest. Study. You'll see a lot of opportunities. Let me use 2 brands you know. KCB Bank, for example. KCB Bank is valued by the market at around 170 billion shillings. The valuation of the entire KCB. Last year, they made a profit of 60 billion. So if you bought KCB, it's your bank, it will take you 2.5 years to recover all your money using only net profits. Equity Bank, for example, also. Equity Bank is valued by the market at around 211 billion shillings. But their first half year up to 30th June was 31 billion shillings. So they will likely make 62 billion 1 year profit. So it will take you, if you bought the entire company, less than 4 years. Proti Narumoro, Proti Kamuru, Proti wapi, hiyo Proti alafu unapigiwa simu, muduraita maiga haha. I mean, then you have a home in hapa Nyeri, another one in Nairobi. Now, because you have money, you also want a home in Mombasa to be sleeping there over Christmas. And then the entire year you have a caretaker maintaining that plot for you. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Nimemaliza. Asante sana. You may sit. I know we are in a church forum, and therefore we can't talk politics. I just want to say one thing that is attached to the things I was saying, because I am an economist and I am grateful for that. There is one thing that is troubling my mind as a Kenyan on the economic front. And it's something, I am not saying it to accuse anyone. I'm saying it because it is important. If you read the central bank data, it shows that the Kenyan economy, we have now borrowed. Our national debt is now over 12.1 trillion Kenya shillings. For the last 3 years, our country has borrowed in excess of 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings. So I would want to request all of us as the leadership, and especially those who have the opportunity to make decisions in the executive. Let us serve our country with dedication. And let us not seek to give good narratives out there when the Kenyan economy is actually being teared down or torn down. We have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in 3 years. President Kibaki borrowed 1.2 trillion in the entire 10 years he was president. And therefore we have borrowed 3 times in 3 years. We have borrowed 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. That's the money Kenya has borrowed in the last 3 years alone. What Kibaki, 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. And in that money I have not included other debts that Kenya has now become clever to borrow in the name of something called securitization. I've not mentioned even that. It therefore means the economy of Kenya is borrowing 100 billion every month. And every single day, when the lights go off, every day, every single day, Kenya is borrowing 3.4 billion every day. That we are borrowing in a minute. You can do the calculations and see. In an hour, maybe we are borrowing around 137 every 1 hour. I'm saying this because we are now headed to the elections. And what governments do, they focus more on re-election and we forget that we have a country to lead after the elections. And what that means is that every time we are nearing elections, we start having something called fiscal expansion. Because maybe there is nothing much to be seen for the past year, then in basically 1 year, we want everything to be seen. And therefore, what do? We become reckless in borrowing. Kenya is there now. That now our debt is 12 trillion Kenya shillings. I want to request that we do not have to put our country in that kind of pedestal in terms of borrowing. Kenya has always had development for the many years, but we never had to borrow that much. President Kibaki did a lot of development. He borrowed only 1.2 trillion for 10 years. Where is the 1.2 trillion we are borrowing every year going? To make the matter worse, anything you see with your mouth, with your eyes, sorry for that. Maybe the mouth is what is also being used somewhere. So I shouldn't say sorry. Let me paraphrase that. Everything you see with your eyes happening in Kenya now, in terms of development, what you can see, for example, the expansion of this Keno Marwa Road, is not even part of the 12 trillion borrowed. Is another column on the side called fuel levy securitization. Everything else you see in Kenya in terms of development, like even the Talanta Stadium, is also not part of the 12 trillion debt. That is another debt, securitization of the sports fund, where we borrowed 46 billion and we'll be paying 100 billion in interest rate alone after 15 years. Even the expansion of Nairobi-Nakuru Road is also not part of the 12 trillion we have borrowed. That is NSSF money being used as a PPP to build that road. I request those who are in government, you have already borrowed 1.2 trillion every year. And even what we can see with our eyes is actually not part of that borrowing. Please, kueni na huruma ya nchi ya Kenya. Even as we preside over the affairs of our country, let us be, tujue kwa akili zetu ya kwamba there is Kenya after elections. Let us not run our country in terms of overheating it. We must avoid to become like Sri Lanka. We must avoid to become like Ghana. We must avoid to become like Ethiopia. We must avoid to become like Zambia in the recent years. Because Kenya is a strong country with internal resources. This issue of profligate borrowing must come to an end if we really care about this country. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Thank you. Let's give another round of applause to our chief guests. Asante sana. I'll kindly request Bwana Mheshimiwa to come back. Did Nyoro come back on stage here? I would like to present you something. And you'll also let me put your heart to rest to tell you that I'm one of those people who stopped that oil business. I'm no longer peddling that one. I did my mathematics and it came not equal to. Nikaachana nayo. But thank you for your support, Mheshimiwa. Let me invite Carol to come and present, to come with a gift, and then I'll call on Reverend Jacob and Kira. Please come.
Mheshimiwa, even for staying completely away from politics. Now, that was in CITAM we don't do politics in church. We allow people to form their opinions, and thank you for highly respecting that. Kumbe ulikuwa utufunze na ututukane. You know, sometimes when you are told the truth, it ouches you, and there is that ouching moment. Thank you so much. That was mind-opening, and that was great. They should have come up with a bigger word than great, but because they didn't, let me just say that was not great, it was greater than great. Thank you so much, even for choosing to share your wisdom with us. And I would want to welcome Reverend Dr. Kimathi to gift you a small gift. You know, in Africa we say all gifts are small. That's a brown kiondo. It's not a brown envelope. And thank you so much for honoring our invitation. I am sure you will be back soon. Would you want us to invite him again? Thank you so much. And before we go, we have a very, very posh place to stay around here. And when Mheshimiwa takes you around Nyeri town constituency to kagua whether he was a good student or not, I am in my hands holding a gift voucher for a whole 2 nights at the Rhino Watch Lodge, which I want to hand over to you. Thank you so much. So, when the fumes of Nairobi become too intense, please feel free to come and get a seat from here.
Thank you, Kira.
Thank you so much.
Our chief guest, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, our guest speaker, Dr. Akinyemi Wade, the area MP, Duncan Madenge, and all protocol observed. I appreciate this moment. Good morning. I hope it's still morning. Good morning. What a wonderful time we've earned, and what a great time we've earned here. Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, we are so grateful. We always know you as a politician, but there is something else that I personally didn't know. You're such an astute economist. And if this is the way you speak, then allow me to invite you for CITAM Business Forum Global next year. Please honor, if you can, honor our invitation. This is what we do at the local assemblies, but we do the same on a global scale. And this year, of all the churches outside Nairobi, you brought the biggest number of delegates. Thank you, Kula. Thank you, Kula, for leading such a team. This is becoming the epicenter of things. And thank you so much. And on behalf of my chair, I am the patron of CBF. We are grateful that you are doing so well here. you are almost overtaking us at the global level, which is fine. And once more, I came with Dan. Dan is the chair for Ngong, CITAM Ngong, CBF. Thank you, Dan. I'm told here Nanyuki is represented, CITAM Nanyuki. The team from Nanyuki, are they here? Is it Nanyuki or Embu? That is all right. Embu. Or maybe they must be on the way. Oh, they are there. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And even CITAM Adriba, where I am, is represented. I'm here. CITAM Meru, where are you? CITAM Meru also represented. Where are you? Thank you. It goes to tell you that we can do much more than praying in church. We can do more than, interceding. We can influence things at all levels. And when you began, Ndindi Nyoro, and you said how you give children opportunity, by feeding children, by paying 1,000 Kenya shillings, where others are just eating all that money, the bursary fund, but you are giving the children to be able to complete their education and get an opportunity in life. We salute you. And I know Honorable Madenge will do better now that you are the mentor. And I think all the MPs should come and learn from you. And thank you so much. I'm not going to talk much. We are about to have our our guest speaker now to come and share with us. We call him our big brother, Dr. Wade Akinyemi. Now, if you want Ndindi, wait now until you hear Wade Akinyemi. Put on your safety belt because you are just about to be blown out. Yeah. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Wade Akinyemi. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Asante.
Thank you.
My reputation is height. I'll be speaking like you.
Oh boy. Thank you. Please let's sit down. Wow, what a day. I must say, I've been around for a while, and I think, that I've been around for a while. I served as a researcher many years ago at a place called the Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. That's where my journey started. That was many moons ago. That was in 1989. So I was a researcher at the Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, so I love data, and we moved into a whole lot of business and stuff like that. And I'm saying this to say, I came to Kenya 25th November 1994. And this gentleman and I have been friends since 95 or so, Mr. Korea and I have been friends since 1995. That's a long time, isn't it? My son, that was a year old when I came to Kenya, is married and with his own family. My last born, my daughter, she got married So I've been around for a while. But sir, in all those years, I've not met a political mind that is also an economic mind like I have had today. I salute you. I salute you. If I could vote in Kenya, okay, let's stop. Because when the US government appointed me many years ago to be a special advisor to the chairman of IEBC, I find myself trending, saying, who's this bloody Nigerian who has come to steal Kenya's elections? But it's Paul the Apostle called it the price of the high calling. And anybody who doesn't want to be criticized should stay small. Thank you. Anybody who doesn't want to be criticized, just stay small. Do nothing. And everybody will leave you alone. So are we ready? All right. I'm going to be talking about, I have so much to unpack. Thank you. Yes, you can. Thank you so much. Are we ready? Years ago, and I'll tell you something even as I get going, I believe that the church is the future of this nation, of nations generally. And that's in line with prophecy also, isn't it? Many years ago, when President Goodluck Jonathan was in government, he came to Kenya for a state visit. And I happened to have been invited for some of those meetings. Now, the interesting thing about that was that I was invited by the Kenyan side. I'm more Kenyan, you understand what I'm saying? So I was invited by the Kenyan side, and so President Goodluck Jonathan looked at me, and because I was sitting on this side with my whole Nigerian thingy, and President Goodluck Jonathan from that day began to call me a fake Nigerian. He called me a very fake Nigerian, but I'm not a fake. But so 2 days ago, I was at Uhuru Park because there was a Kenya-Nigeria forum at Rema Feast, and I was asked to come and speak since I'm one of the longest Nigerians, probably the oldest Nigerian who has been here for so many years, for over 30 years. So they asked me to come and speak. And for the first time, what I have seen attempts made at doing at the governmental level and all that, I saw, all those meetings, I've attended a lot of them, and, we just speak a lot of English, we speak a lot of grammar and all that. But for the first time, I began to see the possibilities, real businesses happening. I saw that 2 days ago. And so today, what I want to share with you is very, very simple, and the title is, Where Are You Not Looking? Where are you not looking? And I think it's good to start off by asking the person next to you, where are you not looking? Come on, let's do that. And why is this important? Why is this important? The human mind is programmed for the familiar, because the human mind is a pattern recognition machine. What do I mean by that? So when I say 2, 4, 6, so that is what the human mind understands. Now, if I say 2, 15, 30, 45, we get stuck, isn't it? The human mind gets stuck with things that are not familiar. All right? And that is where a lot of people are. That is why when you hear some of the things that you have heard this morning, the human mind does not know how to process it. It's the unfamiliar. Am I communicating? And this is where a lot of people are. But let me tell you, your greatest breakthroughs are going to come from the unfamiliar. It's not coming from the familiar. All right, so where are you not looking? Let's use local examples. For many years or whatever, back in the early 90s, you needed to be a very rich man to have a mobile phone. Yes or no? You needed to be rich, and then it was per minute billing. So if you spoke for 2 seconds, you are charged for 1 minute, isn't it? It was for the elite. Where were they not looking? So a man called Michael Joseph says, you know what? We can go with this same product into the slums. And the rest is history. Is somebody hearing me? Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? Let's look at another example. Banks. Do you know the banks were so arrogant they used to tell some of us to come and close our accounts? Isn't it? Then a bank called Equity shows up and says, you know what? There is money with the unbanked. There is money with people we call unbankable. And guess what? The rest is history. There's something I have always written about and spoken about, and I call it Wallace Triangle. Okay? You may get upset. Why are you calling it your own triangle? It's my own. Now, Pythagoras called his own Pythagoras theorem. Newton called his own Newton's law of motion. So I have a right to also say Wallace Triangle. Now, so if you draw a triangle, and at the top of the triangle, you write the things that are obvious. Obvious. On one other tip, you write the things that are known. The things you already know. And then the things that you are comfortable with. So obvious, known, comfortable. You got your triangle? That right there is Wallace Triangle. Now, I hate to get you upset, but are you ready? Innovation never happens inside that triangle. Why do we have insurance penetration at the level that it is today, and everybody is reading from the same script inside the triangle? Are you hearing me? Breakthroughs happen where? Outside. And this is global. Anywhere you look at. I mean, Bill Gates, everybody was looking at hardware. Where were they not looking? Software. And that's where the breakthrough happened. Let me tell you my story. I always wanted to be a consultant for the United Nations. It was a dream I had for many years. My background is in social statistics, so I always saw myself there. But it was not happening, no matter how hard I tried. Where was I not looking? You know, I was so focused on the UN. So one day, the story of Lazarus in the Bible, it jumped out at me. Lazarus was a beggar at the gate of a rich man, hoping the rich man will help him. The rich man did not help him. So what happened? After a while, Lazarus died, isn't it? What happened after? The rich man died. Why did the rich man die? His purpose was to look after Lazarus, and since Lazarus was dead, there is no need for the rich man to continue living. I went on my knees. I said, God, show me my Lazarus, and whatever you do, don't let my Lazarus die. Because if my Lazarus dies, I better go. No. And so I found my Lazarus with a bunch of kids from Madare. I connected with them. And so for about 7-8 years or so, every week we will cook from Karen and drive all the way to Madare, KCB Sports Club. I have all these kids from Madare show up and began. My assignment was simple. Change their thinking. I say, because if your mind does not leave the slum, your body will not leave. But when your mind leaves the slum, your body will follow. Because your body will go where your mind goes. Is somebody hearing me today? So, we began this. I remember the first day I was having the program at Madare Social Hall. I had developed a curriculum. Because I saw a weakness. I saw that there were so many economic empowerment programs. But if you have the economics right and you don't have the mindset adjusted, it's like winning the lottery. It's not sustainable. So my model was, let us work on the mindsets of these people. Then if they have money, they'll know what to do with it. So we began. But my very first day going to Madare was a Saturday, and a cousin of mine who worked with the UN You know, she called, said, where are you? I said, on my way to Mathare. She said, are you mad? What are you going to do there? You were never ever visited such a place in Nigeria. You now want to go and commit suicide in Kenya. So I switched off my phone because I learned from David. You know, when David said he's going to kill Goliath and, you know, his brother was trying to talk against him, the Bible says David turned from him to another and spoke the same words. So the problem was not what David was saying, the problem was who he was saying it to. So I switched off my phone and I go to Mathare, and it was the best day of my life. I had found my Lazarus. When I get home later that night, my cousin calls again and says, Wale, you mean I can't talk to you anymore? Are you too big to get instructions? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know what? You come to my house tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. There's somebody I want you to meet who's going to talk some sense into your head. So my wife and I went very humbly, and we saw this elderly man who's supposed to talk sense into my head. And he says, what were you doing in Mathare? I shared my curriculum with him. I told him about changing the mindset. I said, remember, he's supposed to talk sense into my head. He talked too much sense. He said, would you like to do this with the United Nations? I did not know he was a very senior person there. 2 weeks later, I was on my first UN trip. Did a lot, and then UNDP picked me up, and the UN was going through a cultural transformation called Delivering as One, and we were appointed as the firm to drive that initiative. So here I was, a United Nations consultant for about 2-3 years. But think with me, where was my gateway to the UN? Mathare. Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? Come on. Now, who would have believed that the gateway to the United Nations would be Mathare? Is somebody hearing me? And it did not stop there. So we're teaching and we're seeing testimonials. And I'm seeing that once the mindset has been worked on, even if you give them a little money, they will bring out the best of it. So we continued doing that. Then COVID happened. So we couldn't continue. Then what did we do? We went online and we called it the Street University. It was initially for people from Mathare. We gave them money for data. They would go, and we're teaching, and we're bringing my curriculum, and then we're bringing in people who are teaching from experience, not just from theory. You understand what I'm saying? We began to bring in people. Within a year, I will tell you, it was free, but you had to register. We had over 30,000 subscriptions from all over the world. Iraq, Lebanon, everywhere we had people. I said, how did we get here? Is somebody hearing me today? So we began, and the subscription began to grow, and then we'll give them all sorts of tests to do. I remember, because once we were able to work on the mindset, the economics would not be a problem. And that's why I'm starting with this today. No matter how much money you have in your hand, your money will never grow beyond the permission of your mindset. Your life will never advance beyond the permission of your mindset. All right? So, we began to give our students tests based on something I had read. Harvard was doing a test, and they gave students $5. And they said a prize will go to whoever is able to multiply this and get the greatest return from this in a day or a day or two. Now, so guys were taking the $5. Somebody went, arranged the discounts with a restaurant. Somebody went, arranged something in a cinema. But the mindset that won realized that this $5 is a distraction. So what did they do? They put aside the $5 and said, what is the real value? How do we get people to come? And how do we get more money? Putting the $5 aside, they identified the core, and that's where people miss it. What is the core? People are chasing distractions. They realized that the $5 was not the core. We are Harvard students. That was the core. That was the selling point. So what did they do? They went to all the top companies and said, tomorrow you are going to have an opportunity to come and pitch to Harvard students so you can hire the brightest minds in America. And people were asked to pay, I think, $100 or so. They made so much money, they did not touch the $5. Ask somebody, where are you not looking? A lot of people are carried away by distractions. And like the Honorable Member of Parliament said, yeah, we have a lot of copycat things. You did this, so I'm doing it. Someone did this, I'm doing it. Anyway, so having learned that and the parable of the talents, I decided to give my students a test. Let us test this mindset thing. So we gave our students $10, but 1,000 shillings, okay? And we said, based on this, you go trade and come back and give us your report. Guess what? The first group, the first month, and we said 30 days. First month they came back, they had made 26,000 shillings from a 1,000 shilling investment. Now, using their story to inspire others, the following month they did about 40,000. Then a group, you know what they did? They turned 1,000 shillings into 100,000 shillings in 30 days. You know, if you don't know what is possible, you will settle for what is available. So I realized the issue here has never been about the cash. It's always been about the mindset. Then we now had another group. We had at the Street University, we did what we call the Street MBA. So we had students, we put them into groups. They have never met each other. One was in Iraq, one was in Lebanon, one was in Southern Sudan. And we put them together and the same test. And they came up with $700. So when that was happening, some people approached me. And they said, oh, you know what? We're seeing what is happening, and they wanted to facilitate an investment. $2 million into the Street University to buy it at that point. You know what? I was confused. I said, what are they seeing? And I'm not going to sell until I see what they are seeing. Because if they are offering me $2 million, they have seen $2 billion. They are not fools. They are not coming because they like me. You understand what I'm saying? They are coming because they saw something. So you know what I did? I closed down. I said, I need to see what they are seeing. Because if I continue and I grow it to a point like that and I now try to monetize, it will be more difficult. So we stopped it, and then we now saw that what are they seeing? I now saw what they were seeing, and I said, we have it. So first thing was to repackage Street University from an online learning platform. There are too many. There are too many online learning platforms, and we repackaged it into a financial services provider and a venture capital firm for micro businesses. Because I had seen one of my daughters in Madare, Sharon, we had given her I think 35,000 to buy a sewing machine. She converted and is doing over 100,000 a week. Now, she's built a house for her mother. Are you hearing me? Mindset. And I saw so many stories like that. So I realized what we need to give them is not much. So we capped it at 50,000. So now we're in the process of launching Street University 2.0. Now listen, and then we now said, and I want you to think with me, a subscription model, 300 shillings a month, and they will learn. And our system is so sophisticated. A part of the component was developed in Canada, a part in Silicon Valley, a part in Atlanta. Then the financial part was from Flutterwave. You know, so it's a very complex system and a smart system. So when our students are learning, when they are learning, you know what? The system is recording how much time they have spent there. So no student can come and say, yeah, I've done this. We just look at the back end. So what did we do? Or what are we doing? They will learn for 6 months. Then we do what we did. We put them in a group. And then we give them the first small fund, $10, to go and reproduce. So at the end of the day, we are able to finance them. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying today? Oh, we got the model. And look, if we our guys, we did our calculations. If you get your 30,000 subscribers back, you do 9 million a month. But with the kind of investment and push we're doing, we're targeting about 1 million subscribers across the globe in a year, which I think is conservative. That means you'll be doing about $3 million a month. Is that a lot of money? Is that a lot of money? Somebody answer me. I'm happy you said that, because I know I'm in the right place. Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? So I discovered that the subscription was a distraction. Did you hear what I said? A $3 million, $5 million a month subscription was a distraction. Where was the real action? Then I remembered Harvard. What are the institutions that were birthed from Harvard? Do you want to know? The institutions that were birthed from Harvard. Facebook has its roots in Harvard. How much is Meta worth today? About $1.9 trillion. Microsoft was birthed in Harvard. Today, 3.78 trillion. Then the smaller ones, Dropbox, 8.1 billion. Citadel, 66 billion. So I saw this and I said, guys, the monthly subscription is a distraction, even if it is $10 million a month. I said, what if, when these companies were at their formative stages, Harvard had invested in them? Do you think Harvard will be crying over $2 billion issue with Donald Trump today? Where are you not looking? Is somebody hearing me? So we saw that and we realized, yeah, everybody is happy with the distraction of $5 million a month, but we are concerned about growing these guys so well that from our street university, the next $1 billion companies in Africa will emerge. And when those companies emerge, guess what? We're shareholders. Is somebody hearing me today? So where are you not looking? Now, let me tell you something. So, and you have all heard the member of parliament say, look for good things to invest in. So, if you want to be part of the street university, come and talk to me. Brothers, we can be owners of the greatest. Look, my son has developed an AI tool that if you're a hotel, it will tell you what events are happening, what the competition is doing, what their occupancy is like, everything you like to know. And then it now brings the concept of affiliate marketing. So everybody becomes a marketer, everybody is making money. He pitched it to a hotel and the hotel said, okay, we're going to pay, but you know what? How much will it cost for you not to show this to any other hotel for 1 year? There is more money on earth than there are people. Hey, is somebody hearing me today? So where are you not looking? So I said, these are the kind of companies I want to birth from Street University. And you know what? We will be owners. We cannot think for 1 year or 2 years. We need to think in generational terms. Is somebody hearing me today? And you know, one of the problems we have, we disqualify ourselves. Ideas come, and then you just, you know, it was Henry Ford who said if he asked his people what the next big thing was, they would have said faster horses, not cars. Are you hearing me? What is the age of your ideas? With the exception of the table where the member of parliament is, I want you to ask your neighbor, what is the age of your ideas? Are you hearing me? What is the age of your ideas? But you see, there's another word we use a lot in Africa, and I think I talked about it here before, the word benchmark. You know, we benchmark a lot of stuff before, you know. But my question is, the pyramids that were in Egypt for 3,800 years, the tallest man-made structures, who were they benchmarking? London Underground, set up in 1863, a city beneath a city, first of its kind. Who were they benchmarking? In 2011, they were celebrating 200 years since the master plan of Manhattan was developed. 200 years, a master plan that was set up for cars when people were riding horses. Who are they benchmarking? You know what the problem is? They were benchmarking their imagination. And we have an upper hand. Doesn't the Bible say, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men, the things that God has prepared for those who love him? But he did not stop there. He says, but he has made them known to us. But when the idea comes, the first thing you are looking for, who has done it? Who has done it? You know what we call such people where I come from? Mumu. Who has done it? Who has done it? You can benchmark. Look, if you invest in the fertility of your mind, you will benchmark your imagination. Are you hearing me today? If society is growing faster than your thinking, you are an endangered species. Is somebody hearing me? Your mind must be ahead of your time. What's the next big thing? Your mind must be ahead of your time. Look, there's a principle I live by. It's called the gap. You know, the member of parliament talked about gaps. And there are 3 questions I ask myself whenever there's a situation brought before me. And the question that I ask myself, what can you do? What do you know? Who do you know? Armed with the gap, February, I was in the South Coast with the leadership of Transoya County. And we're taking their leadership through a whole process of transformational thinking and all that. And one day, in the course of conversation, it came out from the governor and the speaker, later on, that Transoya did not have a university. And they wanted a university. Gap. Don't disqualify yourself. You see, before, when I had shallow thinking, say, oh, that's the government. Oh, I don't have the money. Yeah. But you know what? the gap. What can I do? So I asked them, I said, what if we found somebody who already has a university somewhere and we can come and set up a campus here? I said, fantastic. While we were talking, I texted somebody and I said, there's a great opportunity here to set up a university, state of the art, because that person had a state of the art university. And within 30 seconds to 60 seconds, less than a minute, my phone rang. It was President Obasanjo. President Obasanjo has the best technical university in Nigeria. He called, he said, I love that, Wale, let's do it. He said, bring a team to Nigeria to meet with him and to see the university. I mean, that university is phenomenal. Then he said, if they like what they see, then we will send a team and we can get things going. Well, I did what he said. I took a team and they sent a team. I am happy to announce right now we are in the process of procuring land. We are putting, can you imagine that? The number of people that will be employed simply because of an idea over lunch. Are you hearing me? Now, I spoke with the president two days ago. He said, we need to put the board of the Kenyan Obasanjo Foundation together. He said, so the President Ruto is going to nominate somebody. He said he wants Kenyans. President Ruto will nominate somebody. He said, you nominate somebody. I said, how on earth did I get into that WhatsApp group? Is somebody hearing me today? Ask your neighbor, where are you not looking? I said, I may have been in Kenya for 30 years and done a few things, but I think this is the biggest of all where legacy is concerned. Because that university is going to be there. So benchmark your imagination. Let me ask you something else. And look, we all use ChatGPT at some point or the other, don't we? Fantastic. When was ChatGPT released? Does anybody know? I'll tell you. November 30, 2022. Okay? So that means before November 30, 2022, there was no ChatGPT expert on earth. Except the people that were developing it. Yes or no? That means before November 30, 2022, everybody on earth, as far as GPT was concerned, was on the same level. Isn't it? Good. If you go online today and just type, go to YouTube and just type ChatGPT expert, you will see people 4 million views, 5 million views. They are being paid to teach other people, and they had no advantage in September 2022. So the greatest limitation you have now is a limitation to stay with the familiar. Are you hearing me? With what you are used to, with the comfortable, and not stretching your thinking, stretching your imagination. Because if you do not stretch yourselves to attain to what can be, you will always be a prisoner of what has been. Is somebody hearing me today? These are people making tons of cash. Then I saw something else. I saw that one of the greatest skills of the future is the ability to prompt AI. Is somebody hearing me? How do you prompt AI to be able to deliver exactly what you want it to deliver? So guess what? I developed a curriculum for AI prompting, and you will pay for it. Is somebody hearing me? Because that is the way forward. Because everything is going to be AI. Now there's super AI, it's just going to keep growing. Now, and I remember many years ago, the artists were using paint brushes, air brushes and all that. But you know what? The time came when computers, software came that could do what they were doing, and they could do it in minutes. That's what's happening again. So where are you not looking? I saw AI prompting as a big thing. So let me tell you something. Another thing I saw, and so he who prompts best will get the best of AI and will be at the top. So we need to teach people the language of prompting. I looked at a lot of the case studies we were using for business. They were foreign. I'm so happy today we've heard of Munga, we've heard of James Mangi, we've heard of all those, apart from the guys abroad. Because we had only foreign case studies. And I said, the business secrets of Warren Buffett. I said, but we have those. We can tell it the way they want, isn't it? Anybody can tell it the way they want. So, I'm an author. You guys know we have books out there. A company called African Legends Publishing, to now begin to capture the stories of other people. Our model, again, was very simple. You know, somebody said, I love this definition of civilization. Civilization is your ability to make the best use of the resources available at any point in time. The ability to make the best use of resources available at any point in time. So it's got nothing to do with how educated you are. You can be an educated, uncivilized person. Is somebody hearing me today? So we realized, let's get these authors, great stories. Our authors are busy people. They don't have time to write. They don't know how to write. I mean, they can write their reports and all that, but to sit down and craft a book. So what did we do? We crafted a unique model where our authors never need to pick a pen to write anything or type anything. And what did we do? We had Zoom sessions with our authors. We have about 6 Zoom sessions with them, have conversation, we are recording, then it is transcribed. And once we have the transcript, we have a group of editors who will take it and turn the transcript into a manuscript, and in 90 days you have your book. Is somebody hearing me? Now, I did not know what we got into. Where's Peter? He was sitting here a minute ago. Please, I want him to come and show his book. One of my authors, he's from here. So I told him to come with me. He had tried 40 businesses that failed. 40. You know, let me tell you, if you do 2 businesses that fail, and after the 3rd attempt, you say, you know what, it's over. People will understand. But you've done 40 that failed, and you kept going on. And now, his business, I was with his team a few days ago, and just training their mindsets to achieve their targets. Companies have called me from Dubai, from different places to do that. Help arrange our mindset. This is the target. How do we get the mindset that will deliver that target? So I was with his team. And what their target for this year is, are you ready? 1.2 billion. From 40 failed businesses. So we wrote a book. The man, the book is titled The Man Who Refused to Fail. Now, then we realized there are so many people who want to write their stories, including the member of parliament. And they don't have the time. So guess what? The thing exploded. Now, so we put the books on Amazon. I have Wangeshi. Stan, Wangeshi is also from here. She's one of the people that make me look brilliant in public. I'm surrounded by a team that makes me look very intelligent in public, by the way. You know, so when we finish the book, she puts it on Amazon for an international market so you can earn USD while you are sleeping. Come on. And then, you know, the thing became so big. We tried to get into bookshops and stores, and we realized, oh my goodness, there is no bookshop big enough for us. Because by the end of this year, we're having 200 authors. Which bookshop will take us? So we decided we're setting up African Legend bookshops. And we'll bring Nobel laureates. The bookshop is going to be small. Then an intellectual conversation area where you can bring a Wole Soyinka to come and share his experiences and all that. How many of you would love that? I knew you would love it. That's why we're starting it. Are you hearing me today? Ask your neighbor one more time, where are you not looking? Come on, say it louder. They need to hear. Turn to the neighbor, shout. They need to hear. Are you hearing me? Let me wrap up by telling you a story. Talking of, just to reiterate what our MP, Honorable Nyoro, was saying. Listen to this. When we got into this, we realized Africans, we understand real estate, but we have not yet tapped into the power of intellectual property. Peter, I was talking about you. That is the $1 billion, 1 billion, amen, shilling, but say amen to $1 billion. Where's your book? You don't have it here? Okay, no problem. That's the guy. He's from here. Are you hearing me? So I realized, where are you not looking? We saw that, hey, Africans understand real estate, but we don't understand intellectual property. And when you look at real estate, let me give you an example. When my father died, there was one house that he had, and we looked at the rent we were collecting. Somebody offered us money for the house, okay? Let me tell you something. You better get rid of some emotional attachments that are taking you nowhere. So we looked at the house. Somebody offered us money for the house, sir. So we say, oh, the emotion, it's daddy's house. Okay. By the time we did our calculations, the rent that is being paid, and all the repairs and all that is from that rent. Do you know how many years it will take to collect the money somebody was offering me at a go? Do you know how many years? 256 years. I said, even my father will knock my head from heaven if I don't sell this house. 256 years because of some emotional attachment. Honey, I sold it in a hurry. And you see, I'm now able to do bigger things. Are you hearing me today? Where are you not looking? Intellectual property, I believe, is one of the next big frontiers, especially with the content creator economy. We're not looking in those areas, but we are at African Legends. I looked. You can Google all these things I'm saying. Just Google when you get time. Top earning dead celebrities. Did you hear what I said? Top earning dead celebrities. The celebrity that earned the most amount of money on earth last year was Michael Jackson, who died in 2009. He made $600 million from intellectual property. Is somebody hearing me? Bob Marley made, I think, $40 million or so. Marilyn Monroe, who died before I was born, made like 10 million. I said, how can dead people be making more money than you this mumu? Is somebody here? How can a dead person be making more money than you? Taiwo is here, my wife. We've been married for 33 years. Okay? But we've been friends for forever. So when we were in school, I remember 1988, her godfather died. He was an Englishman. So they went to England, They were the posh ones. We were the village ones. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a miracle that I'm married to. Anyway, so they went to England for the funeral of the godfather. Now, the godfather was an author. He had 10 godchildren. Okay? 10. Now, from 1989, so that was 88, they went for the funeral. From 1989 up to last year, every September, it's September, hallelujah. You know, every September, all the 10 godchildren get a check. I remember when it started, 10,000 pounds, 5,000 pounds. How? 7,000 pounds. You know where it's coming from? Intellectual property, royalties from his books. And I said, there's something here we have not yet tapped into. Books I wrote in 2012, in 2010, are still making money for me today. It was books that sent my children to a lot of overpriced, overrated international schools. You understand what I'm saying? It was books. It was the most dependable. And I say, people have not yet tapped in to this. We are still looking at a plot. Now, let me ask you, and I'm going to wrap up. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I got, and I've learned my lesson in Kenya. Never throw out figures when you're talking. Are you hearing me? Hey, I better go. But I can tell you categorically that my intellectual property is my most valuable asset today. It's my most valuable asset. And so I keep writing books. I just keep doing it. Because, look, God forbid, if anything should happen to me, I have left an inheritance for my children, my children's children, to the 4th and 5th generations. How do you think Michael Jackson's children are feeling today? 600 million just come in. How do you think the author of Harry Potter writing net worth 8 billion? That's what she's made from that book. 8 billion. And she will continue to make that money. And she was broke when she started. She was broke. So, where are you not looking? I'm going to continue from here tomorrow morning. Are you going to be here? I'm going to continue from here tomorrow morning because I believe the key to our prosperity as a people is not in the familiar. The key to our prosperity is in the unfamiliar. It is in where we are not looking. Little did I know that a simple idea to put content online and turn it into a financial services provider had the potential of generating revenue comparable with what we read about in Forbes and Fortune and all those magazines. And that's why I decided, let's build a community of investors around these things. Is somebody hearing me today? Let me end by sharing. Thank you. The last time I was here, I had some books. They're outside there, but I tell you what, all these, okay, this one was here last year. The Experience from Customer to Ambassador. Was this here last year? Some of you got this. Because I know that, you know, the quickest way, I'm going to need help. The quickest way to grow your business, if you're interacting with people, is to create the best experience possible. If two people are selling the same thing in the same place at the same price, what's going to determine who makes the sale is the experience, the person selling it. But all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, all these are books for this year that were written this year. Is somebody hearing me? This one is called Brand Control, a practical guide to shaping and owning your personal brand. I had a friend who was a director of marketing in Lagos at a telecoms company. And after she lost her job, she discovered nobody called her, nobody remembered her. She went into a depression, and that's because she did not have a brand that was a personal brand that was separate from her corporate brand. And you discover at the end of the day, there are people who will pick your call today simply because of where you represent. So how do you build a brand that is not contained and confined by your titles? Limitless. A lot of what I was talking about today comes from limitless, identifying and overcoming containing mindsets. Because our biggest problem, thank you, is thinking. Because we're so used to the familiar. Now, this, yes and no, the two most powerful words on the planet. A lot of people, the problem they have had, they have not said yes to the things they need to say yes to, and they have not said no to the things they need to say no to. So how do you rise above emotions to make those right decisions? This is that. And then I told you last year, I think I did, that 2023 I had a heart attack. Remember that? Did I talk about that? 2020 I had a heart attack. Let me tell you something about me. Anything that happens to me that leaves me alive, it must pay. No, it's true. So I wrote a book, Life After a Heart Attack. Lessons I learned, warnings you need. It's my best-selling book today, sir. So the heart attack is paying for its offenses. It will never come near me again because I will turn it into money. Oh, I'm telling you. And then this one was written by my daughter. And I think everybody who is leading young people needs to get it. It's called Cracking the Gen Z Code. And it's written by a Gen Z herself. All right? So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be here tomorrow morning. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to continue from here. But one more time before I sit, ask the person next to you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Let's keep clapping until he gets to his seat. Thank you so much. You may have your seats. Thank you so much. I think that has been an amazing session. Don't you think so? I'm just wondering, my phone was at 10%, now it's at 1. I was trying to write. I hope the media team have taken snippets for us. But thank you so much, and may God continue allowing you to just pour your wisdom to us, both speakers. We really, really appreciate. And actually, I think for the young people, I'm sitoki hapa the same. Watu wa maguta, poleni, I apologize. Watu wa maguta, poleni, but I think we are challenged, right? So as we transition to the next session, to the exhibitions expo now, I'll request there will just be a short session. I'll invite Ken to just appreciate a few guests. I think he'll do that from there.
Wow, I think these two guys, when you combine them on the same platform, it is very, very easy to provoke some fire from there. Thank you so much for starting us so heavily. We are really, really challenged. Somebody told me that you cannot grow unless you change. For example, if I added some weight, God forbid, and we meet with you, you are likely to tell me that, hey, you have grown because you can see some change. And you don't change unless you are challenged. So the real source of growth is challenge. When you are challenged, you change. When you change, then there is remarkable growth. And that is what you have precisely done, Mheshimiwa and Daktari. Thank you so much, and may God continue to bless you. We have the representation from the governor's office, Tafadhali Bwana Mwangi. Thank you so much. He's called Mwangi Box. He's Chief Officer in charge of Trade and Investments in Nyeri County. Thank you so much. You have always partnered with us. He's never failed to come for all our breakfast meetings Asante sana na Mungu aendelee kukubariki. We have Honorable Taiti. Honorable Taiti, I think he left at some point. Yeah, he is an MCA around, and thank you so much. And all of you as distinguished guests, may God bless you. Just one thing that I would want us to do at this particular point, and the media team will help me to do that. There is one amazing guy that I would want to just appreciate from the very depth of our hearts. This is our product, and we would say that this is a journey that we have walked with this guy as our product, and now we are celebrating 1 year from the time he did something magical to us. And media team will at some point cast him. Last year, we had a forum like this, and all the things that you can see, that guy there, let me give a small story. All the things that you can see, from this design to these, to the billboards that you have seen